Welcome to how I would grade an AP Biology formal lab, and we will be using one of my students, Ima's paper on seed germination in different salinities. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just walk you through exactly what I'm looking for when I read your reports. Okay, so I'm looking at her abstract, and it appears she has the purpose, a little bit about the experiment. She tells me how she did the experiment with the results, showing no clear pattern, and what they concluded. I see that she has only one hypothesis. I see the fact that she has not given me the lab question. She has not given me any description of the experiment, and she is lacking some of the key terms. So I would give her a 5 and a 0. And so she would actually end up not with 11, but with 10 points out of 20. When I would look at the materials that she used, that's fine. I see that's fine. That would be fine. You would get 3 points for the materials. However, with the procedures, I would notice that they're not outlined. It's more of a paragraph. I would prefer more of a procedure stated in the step 1, step 2, step 3 approach. And it seems somewhat clear that they added salt, poured those solutions into 100 milliliters of water, added the seeds, and then placed them in a jar. She didn't talk about how they counted them. So I would give this person 5 for 6. Identification of the variables. Let's see the dependent variable with the amount of salt. The dependent variables were the seedlings. No mention of a control. So you would have 1. So that gives us 3, 5, 8, 9 points for the materials and procedures section. On to the results. The effect of salinity on germinating seeds. She has the columns labeled and units. So she has it titled. She has data recorded. She has her columns labeled. And she has units shown. Let's take a look at the graph. The effect of salinity. Number of seeds. She's listed the different keys. The amount of salinity. You would get 4 points for the graph. Must include statistical analysis and trends. They've talked about the trends. I see no statistical analysis, so they would get 2 for 5. Correct analysis shows calculations of water potential, data table water potentials, etc. So this person would get 0 for no analysis. So we would get 2, 6, 9, 11, 15, 17 for 32. Again, at this point, it appears more of omissions seems to be the problem with Ima's paper more than what she's reasoning or doing. All right, we move to the conclusion. They tested how different the amounts of salt, the cause of the salt because of the water cycle. Our hypothesis, and we will use the same. So the experiment proved our hypothesis wrong because we thought even the slightest amount of salt would stop the seedlings from sprouting, but it turns out that with 0 grams of salt, only 5 seedlings sprouted, and with 0.25 grams of salt, 8 seedlings sprouted. Okay, I don't see their clear claim, and I don't see a clear reasoning how the salt was connected to the reason why the seeds were sprouting or not. It seems that even though a little bit of salt actually causes more seeds to sprout when there is too much salt present, at 3 grams of salt, no seeds can sprout. Okay, I'm really confused about what they're trying to say. So this person would get 7 points here. They attempted to use data with some clear statistical results, so they would get 4. The clear resistance is here at 0%, plus or minus 0.5%. They did, in some possible barrels we could have made miscounting some seeds, as some were difficult to see. Okay, that's probably not a very good error. I would have assumed maybe if they didn't see clear results here, that I would guess that maybe their mixing of the salts in the 100 milliliters of water was inaccurate. I do not see a repeated data, so another error could have been the fact that they only did it once, and that's why maybe there's no data present. So I would say that because they showed no improvements, and because they had mentioned an error. Now I noticed in the introduction there was no references to where they found this information about germination or their background, and there's no citation here. I would give you 0. For the conclusion, we added up 6, 13, and then finally the lab questions. And so there are no lab questions. They would get 0. So in this example, it appears that the reason the student did not succeed in this lab was that there were things missing from this report that could easily be corrected by adding them. The second mistake that really the student fell behind was not connecting any information about salts to germinating seeds as the reason why the plants were growing or not growing. Okay, I hope this helped. Thank you.